Welcome to podcast number... Shit, is it 23? I think it is. Wow. That's surprising to me. I feel like I've only just started this thing, but 23 in and still feel like a beginner? Probably not a good sign. Kicking things off. Glad to see you go, Trump, you fucking retard. I'm on vacation today, people. It's Thursday the 12th. Biden has been the president-elect now for just about a week. I think it wasn't until last Friday did it actually come out that he did win. And if you still think that there's fraud, if you think that you want to stop the votes in some place but keep voting another place, and you just want to accept that Trump lost, what I want you to do is go to SeaWorld and jump in the nearest orca tank and just end it. Because you need to stop. You're holding back progress and freedom and everything that America stands for. Hey, we didn't like it when your boy won. You don't like it when our boy won. And just to clarify, I don't like either of them. But I hate Trump way more than Biden. And looking at Biden's, he released some of his first couple executive orders, and I agree with all of them. It's probably the best thing Biden will ever do in his presidency is do these first couple executive orders, and I'll just breeze past them. He's going to rejoin the Paris climate accord thing. The Iran deal is going to start back up. He's going to help the DACA kids again. And he's going to roll back all of the awful environmental deregulations that the Trump administration have done over the last couple of years. And is there another one? I'm sure there is. I'm just drawing a blank. And he's taking coronavirus seriously. I looked at who was on his coronavirus response team. I didn't see a lot of swamp creatures on there. He announced who his chief of staff is. I mean, the guy's is a lobbyist still, but he's not a complete awful one. I still wouldn't have picked him, but that's just me. I don't want a lobbyist or former Goldman Sachs exec or Fannie Mae. I don't want those pieces of shit in the government. But, you made your bed, now you gotta sleep in it, people. So, congratulations to Joe Biden. For those of you that think, well, now that Biden's the president, everyone's going to be hunky-dory again, you're more of a fucktard than the Trump supporters. So, this train wreck that is America is going to keep on chugging, baby. Don't you worry about that. Let me take a little coffee sip here. Ugh, too watery. I really fucked up that coffee. Really fucked up that Joe. Moving on. Tough loss by the Seahawks. I don't know why our defense can't figure it out, but if you're going to lose to a team, I don't mind losing to the Buffalo Bills. They're probably my second or third favorite NFL team. I tend to always root for the underdogs, and by the way, the other team is the Cleveland Browns. So I always root for the shit teams, and there hasn't been more shit teams in the NFL over the last decade or 20 years, I would say, the Bills and the Browns. So, and I love Josh Allen. So if you're going to lose to a team, might as well make it your second or third favorite team. Now, do I wish the Seahawks would have won? No shit, Sherlock. Am I happy they lost? No. But, again, Josh Allen is dope. I really like that team. I like the head coach. I hope they win the division because fuck the Patriots. I like the Dolphins. I like that Tua Tagovailoa. Oh, man, I really hockeyed that one up. Yeah, it was tough. But, thankfully, the Cardinals also lost, and the Rams were in a bye week, but that's who we're playing this week. So let's hope we beat the Rams. Next week on a short rest, we play the Cardinals again. They beat us already at home this time, though, on Thursday. So we have back-to-back tough matchups on a short week, and then we kind of have our second bye week after that. So I'm hoping we go 2-0. I'm expecting us to go 1-1. I think we should be able to split that. We may lose to the Rams, and we may beat the Cardinals. That's how I would. If we're going to lose, I'd like it to be like that. I would hate to get swept by the Cardinals, even though I like Kyler Murray. But no. But it was a tough game, but what are you going to do? We're still 6-2. Everyone needs to chill. The defense is atrocious. You gotta assume they're going to turn something around. I mean, we have too many big names to play such shit. I think it's just because we've been injured and there's a lot of new faces. We just haven't had time to gel. But those are all excuses. Every team's got injuries, so figure it out, Seahawks. Moving on from sports, I got recommended a show, and I started watching it, and I'm in love with it. It's from Prime. It's called Catastrophe. It's on 4 seasons. I think it's done now, actually. I don't know if they're going to be a season 5. It's arguably, in my opinion, the best romantic drama series on television. What do they call it? Dramedies? Now, the other one I'm enjoying still is Better Things. I still love that show, and that's kind of in the same vein. So I will say that if I had to rank my favorite dramedies, Better Things and Catastrophe are 1 and 2. I cannot think of better ones. I'm not a fan of romantic comedies, TV shows, and I'm not a fan of dramedies that are just cheesy as fuck. Like This Is Us. Go fuck yourself. I tried watching that show. Wanted to kill myself 20 minutes in. Same thing with that Hilary Swank astronaut show. 10 minutes in, and I was looking for the nearest butter knife. I just I couldn't get into it. It's too cheesy. Any show that has, like, more than a 10-second scene of music, like really shitty pop music, overdubbing, just people looking exhausted or, like, life, am I right? No, go kill yourself. I'm done with it. No, I need something that's more real. And that's why these shows, Better Things and Catastrophe, hit such a chord with me, is because they're real. It's real. It's not, a bunch of beautiful people complaining about how great life is, but still, I can't find the one to love. Oh, my kids are driving me crazy. Oh, I have to keep running errands, and I'm a single mom. Oh, I'm a single dad. It's so hard. Ugh. Gross. So I strongly recommend Better Things and Catastrophe if you like realistic, real-life shows about life, specifically about relationships and starting a family. I would say that would be Catastrophe. Or if you just want to see a parent raising kids by herself and just trying to keep her shit together, watch Better Things. It's amazing. Better Things, I'm almost done with. Catastrophe, I'm right in the middle. So I cannot recommend it enough. And if you are still doubting Catastrophe, let me tell you, Carrie Fisher plays the mom of Rob Delaney. And if you don't like Carrie Fisher, find the nearest blender, put your hand in it, and turn it on. We don't need people like you anymore, Carrie Fisher is a goddamn saint. Yeah, she's Princess Leia and all that other shit, but no, she is money, and I still miss her. So when I saw her on the show, I started to cry, because I miss her. But she was made for this role. But let me back up a little bit. So the 2 main stars of Catastrophe, Sharon Horgan, who I've never seen or heard of until I saw the show. She's Irish, I believe, which is probably why I've never seen her. She's in Irish TV shows or British shows. I don't know. Rob Delaney. I've only known Rob Delaney because he's a stand-up comedian. I saw his stand-up a couple of years ago, and I liked him. And I knew he was on the show, but I never watched the show. Catastrophe was on my watch list for years. I want to say since 2016 or 2015. 2015 is when the show came out. So I'm about 5 years behind. But catching up. Let's see, this coffee's any bit better. Nope, still putrid. So, but it's just so funny. Both of these characters, Sharon and Rob, are quick, macabre, dark humor, sarcastic, but also you can get the feels going. I've cried a lot in this show. Cried a lot in Better Things. But yeah, Carrie Fisher, and she's not in every episode. I don't want you to think Carrie Fisher's one of the main stars of the show. So far, she's not. She's maybe in 4 episodes and maybe a scene or 2. There's only really been 1 episode where she was in the majority of the episode, but it was amazing. Speaking of people who have passed, and that has caused my heart to ache, we got back-to-back ones, Sean Connery and Alex Trebek. No, this is not a Saturday Night Live sketch, although how funny would it be up, if you believe in heaven or afterlife, whatever, up in heaven, you have Sean Connery and Alex Trebek just making each other laugh about those SNL sketches. It's just so funny. They both died around the same time, and they're such an iconic sketch. Suck it, Trebek. Anyway, that hurts. I loved Alex Trebek. I grew up watching Jeopardy with my family. I was starting to get back into Jeopardy, especially when I was with Rebecca. We would watch it and try to outdo one another. I think she would admit that I did most of the winning. But that hurts. And of course, Sean Connery is just a legend. Of course, James Bond movies and all that stuff. But I'm a fan of The Rock. And, oh God, what was the other one that I love? The one he did with Kevin Costner. He won an Oscar for. He played the cop. Ugh, I hate it when I can't think of famous movies. The Untouchables. There you go. So, those two just died. Of course, Carrie Fisher died, I think, a year or 2 years ago. I don't know, but I still haven't got over it. There's a couple dead people that I have a hard time taking in their, I guess you could say their art or their lifestyle, whether it be musicians, comedians, actors, authors. It's just hard for me to take in some of those things, like Robin Williams. I still have a hard time watching a Robin Williams movie. Same thing listening to Tom Petty or David Bowie. And there's some comedians that I just, I don't want to get all dark and dreary here, but anyway. So, in honor of Carrie Fisher, Sean Connery, and Alex Trebek, I, Angelo, will take a noontime vacation bong rip for y'all. So, oh boy, where would we be without you three giants of industry? You titans of industry, if you will. So, to Carrie Fisher, Alex Trebek, and Sean Connery, this bong hit is for you. Whew. That was a good one. That's a good one, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Shall we get back into the Angelos, Grossos, Past a Love Life? Let's get it going. Let's get it going. I think we left off with, where did we leave off? The Japanese vacation trip and ending of that. Yeah, I think did I finish that relationship? Well, anyway, I'll just dive right in. After the Japan trip, we chit-chatted for another couple weeks about the relationship. Neither of us are really that happy. She was expecting marriage at this point, which I don't blame her. That's their culture. But I just couldn't accept that. I didn't feel comfortable enough with her to just let that happen. And looking back, should I have made the risky jump into the deep end? Maybe. I don't like regrets. I don't know. Nobody does. And I've thought a lot about this. I think it may have worked under certain circumstances. But I also think it had a high probability for failure, only because I know who I was back then. And, oh man, I would have been very judgy. I would have been nitpicky. I would have been very OCD. I would have been almost not overly possessive, because I never am that. What's a good word for it? I would always want to make sure she was okay. I would be overbearing. That's a better word use there. I would be overbearing to her. I'd want to make sure everything would be okay. I'd have to teach her how to drive, people. And I think I would just be too hands-on, if that makes any sense, and not really let her kind of test out her wings and American fly out of the nest, if that metaphor makes any sense. So, I don't know. I would say that I'm probably 55-45. Whether or not it would work, 55% nay, 45% yay. But it could be wrong. Who knows? It would have been an adventure. The risk taker in me was saying then, and it's still saying now, that if I did marry her and it didn't work out, what's the worst that could happen in a divorce? I know plenty of people that got divorces. But I would feel bad, because you're not only divorcing a marriage, you're divorcing a culture. She's probably not going to stay here. She probably, I burped on camera. That's got to be very sexy to all y'all listeners. And she would have to go back home. And I know divorce is not taking as lightly there as it is here in America. So I don't know. I'm still iffy on if that one would have worked. But anyway, now that we have concluded that relationship, let's move forward to Angelo's dipping the toe into the online dating scene, I would say back in 2017. And before I dive in here, I had to write down the ladies in question and the dates, and I saw that list, and it was way more than I thought. I had to take another bong rip because I just could not believe it. Now, I'm not saying this to be cocky or to toot my own horn, but there was a lot of dates here. A lot of women were interested in your boy. It's surprising to me as well. So, good God. So, let's just dive right in. And I'm already looking at this list. There's definitely going to be another episode or two because some of these I know I'm going to go off the rails on. So, good God Almighty. What a great time to be alive. The first one I have written down here, and by the way, these are not in chronological order. I have no idea what the times were. The last couple of years have just been a fucking blur when it comes to the romance. So, the first one I remember vividly, I went out with this girl 3 times. She was from the country of Moldova. By the way, it's for such a small country, I know so many Moldovans. I know way more Moldovans than I do Russians or, what can I think of another country? Africans or any Europeans. Australians. I know like maybe 2 people from those countries, but I know like 7 or 8 Moldovans. And it's just a tiny little country. It's one of those Eastern Bloc countries. Anyway, great people. That's why I wanted to go on dates with this chick. So, she was a family member of a friend. Saw her a couple times at a couple of these get-togethers, a couple parties, a couple birthday parties. You know what I'm talking about. We hit it off. I thought she was beautiful. And she just had a good sense of humor. And I liked her drive. She was always working, always hustling. She always had goals and dreams. She would always be very open about them, too. So I liked the openness, the honesty. So we went on one date. And the first date was, well, how to put it? It started off as the worst date. Right away, she was about 10 minutes late, which is fine. I don't care. 15 is when I start to care. 10 minutes, I wipe my ass with it. So she showed up and she just looked upset. She looked depressed, and this is not the girl that I have seen at all those parties. And then it kind of came quick to me that it was all kind of a show. She would put on a happy face, and then deep down, this is probably what she was like, or this is not. Maybe that's not what she's like, but that's the more real. So I just addressed the elephant in the room, and I brought up, said, "Are you okay? You look depressed. This isn't the you that I saw a couple weeks ago, blah, 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 blah." And she opened up. And yes, she suffers a little bit from depression. I don't know how a little bit is. I'm not going to gauge that, but it looked a lot more than a little bit. And she started to cry, and she just was a mess, and I felt really bad for her. And I just said, fuck it. I ordered 2 or 3 drinks. I just started talking to her, making her laugh, just trying to be myself. I asked her if she smoked pot, and she says, "You know I do." And she brought out a pen, and I said, fuck it, let's order some food, chit-chat. I'm going to go to the bathroom, hit the pen, and then I'll come back. You can get up and go hit the pen. And she laughed. And so I'm not going to say I salvaged the evening, but I did rescue it from imminent death. So we were there for maybe 2 hours, and then we walked around Seattle. We had a really fun time. It turned out to be a very, very fun date. She opened up. She was comfortable with me. I was becoming more comfortable with her. I kept making fun of her accent. I kept calling her Dracula. She thought it was hilarious because I knew about Transylvania, and I knew a little bit about her country because, like I said, I have some friends that are Moldovan. And so we just hit it off. And I walked her to the not the subway, the train. I don't know, whatever that public transportation underground is. I'm too stoned, people. I don't remember what it's called. I think it's a subway system. Oh God. Anyway, and so then I was excited, chit-chatted a little bit more, and then we went on a second date. So I would categorize the first date as fun, productive, dare I say, setting a foundation for a second and a third date. So the second date could not have been more different. It was such a colossal, titanic disaster from the start to the end that I was like, I don't really know who this person is. And I didn't want to insinuate any kind of, mental health issues. I'm not a doctor. I'm not an expert. But I just saw this person be bubbly, exciting, and then very morose, macabre, depressed, and then she starts to laugh and cheer up, and she was kind of a middle of the two to this mess, which was just so selfish, such an asshole. Just, it's almost like she was owed a fun time because she showed up. ingratitude. So, the second date, we went to Northgate, and she wanted to go see a movie, which is one of my favorite movies, 2001 Space Odyssey, and I thought, holy shit, a woman who likes fucked up movies like that? Fuck yeah, I'll marry that bitch right now! And so I drove my eager ass out to Northgate, and again, late. She was late again. She was so late, in fact, that we had to skip what we were going to do before the movie. And then it turned out that we were in opposite ends of the mall. So that caused about another 20-minute delay. So the date was already a fucking mess. And she then texted me something about, I don't know if I can stay for the whole movie because I want to go to Barnes & Noble before they close. And this is when I thought, well, no, we had plans. We had plans for this, this, and this. Like, I took all this emotional and mental preparedness for this, and I thought you were too. She's like, no, I'm sorry, but, I kind of want to go. I was like, well, just go buy the book now. And she's like, no, the movie's starting. It was just a mess. Like, she just did not care about what we agreed to, nor how I felt, really. But I said, okay, let's just start over. We go into 2001 Space Odyssey, and then she is on her phone. That is a killer. Ladies, obviously, and not just ladies, guys too. If you take out a cell phone in a movie theater, in any point of the movie, if it's the trailer or the credits or, commercials before the trailers, everybody does it. Go fucking wild. But when that goddamn movie starts and I see a white light, I want to grab that phone and the back of your head and just smash the two until there's just white mist. That's what I want to do. And everybody else wants to do that too. So I see that and I was like, no. And I told her, hey, can you put the phone away? I thought we were seeing a movie here. She's like, oh, sorry. My parents are traveling. I'm watching their flight. And I was like, well, they're flying. Like, just put the phone away for an hour or two, or leave. Go to the lobby and check it. But there's people trying to watch the movie. It was a crowded theater. And then she was like, ugh, like I'm that prick. And I don't know if you guys have seen 2001 Space Odyssey, but it's a mind trip. The first, 40 minutes, I don't know about 40 minutes, I just picked a number. I just grabbed a number out of the thin air. But the first part of the movie has fucking astronauts walking on the moon and seeing a fucking large-ass rock, and then it jumps back into we're all apes and we're learning tools and we're fighting cats and shit. And then it jumps to the future again, we're in a spaceship, and so there was a lot of shit going on. You kind of have to expect it. She said she was expecting it. She said she loves these kinds of movies. Well, she was not liking it. She said, I can't watch this movie. It's too long. Barnes & Noble's is going to be closed. I didn't know it was this long. And I was like, oh, for the love of... And I said, all right, you want to go? And then I was just ready for the night to be over. But I was there in Northgate with this girl. I was like, I still want to see a movie. I still want to see if there's any chance of salvation here. So I said, let's sneak out and go watch a movie that's going to end sooner so that we could run your ass over to Barnes & Noble before I crash my car into the off-ramp, because this was awful. So we sneak into Incredibles 2. And she said, I've already seen this movie, but that's okay. And that theater was dead. It was her and I, and then way on the other end was this white woman with 3 kids that were just running around. She looked like she was on the nice mix of Chardonnay and Xanax. So we started watching the movie. I'm into the movie. I have developed cares, emotions for said characters. This is when this bitch starts to just like grunt and sigh like she's bored, and I look over and she's just like, this is awful. And I said, did you not, why did you pick this movie? She's like, well, you haven't seen it. And I said, well, yeah, but you left the movie that we both agreed to go watch, and you saw this movie and you said, sure. I mean, do you not want to be here? She's like, I don't know, and then she started to pout like a child. And I said, fuck it. So I took out my pen and I started hitting the motherfucker. And I got fucked up in about 10 minutes as she's continually just, and then occasionally looking on her phone, which I've given up that fight. And finally she gets up in the middle of the movie and says, let's go. And I said, you can go. I'm staying and watching the movie. And she looked horrified. How dare a guy speak to her like that? Because again, people, this woman is gorgeous. To me, anyway. I don't know about y'all, but I think she's gorgeous. And she sat back down and started to pout again, and then she wanted to leave again, and I said, I told you, I'm going to stay and watch this movie. I'm into the movie. I get it. You've seen the movie, but this is awful right now. If you want to leave, you can leave. So she sat back down a second time, and then she started watching the movie again, and it was fine. But then about 20 minutes from the ending of the movie, shit's getting real in The Incredibles 2. She starts to, can we just go? And that's when I lose it. I said, fucking fine. I yell fucking fine in the movie theater. Again, it's just her and I and this woman who is basically in a coma while the kids are just tearing up the place, so they were fine. I have never yelled in a movie theater before. So I was like, oh, this is not good. So I get up and I storm out, and she's running after me, following me. I'm sorry. It's just that I'm so stressed for time, and I didn't know. I think I have to go to work tonight. And it was just awful, and I stopped listening, so I kind of stormed out. And she's like, well, hold on. And she was, like, kind of freaking out, and I don't know, so I went in for a hug. She hugged me, and then I grabbed her butt, and I felt like an asshole later, because I thought, I gotta get something out of this. This is a fucking awful. Grabbed the little butt. Not long, but just a little, and then I got in my car, and I was pissed, and I thought that was it. And then I texted her saying that was awful. And she kept apologizing, and I decided to try to believe her. I tried to believe that she was truly sorry, and so we agreed to go out again, and it was just kind of the same. It was a little bit toned down, but it was still kind of just a lot of phoniness, a lot of fakiness. It's almost like she was a copy and paste machine. So I thought, I really don't know this person. I'm putting in all this effort. She's not really letting me in. And I don't know if I want to even attempt to let her in either. So she wanted to do all these. I mean, we met on like a Thursday night, and she wanted to go shopping, and I thought, well, can't we just like go to a restaurant and chit chat, maybe walk around Seattle again? I wanted to get those first date vibes back, and she said, no, let's go shopping. I want to go shopping. So we went shopping, and to her credit, she was right. I had a fun time. I bought some shit. It was fun. I think I bought a pair of sunglasses and some dishware. Oh shit! I bought some shoes. That's right. And so, but then she said, oh, I just got an invite. Do you want to go to a concert tonight? And I said, I don't want to go to a concert tonight. No, I haven't planned for it. I have shit I got to do. And so she said, well, cancel it. Let's go to the concert. I'm like, oh, no, you can't just drop this on me. I got shit to do. So she said, well, I'm going to go, but I need to change. So can I like give you my things and then get it back from you later? And I'm like, this is fucking wild. So she gave me a bunch of shit because I had my backpack with me. So I had like a pair of her shoes, like a shirt of hers, and maybe a hat or some shit. I said, what the fuck is this? So then I put the shit in my backpack, drove home, and then we met up one more time, but just like briefly so I could give her back her shit, and I was just done. And that was the end of that for that point, because recently I reached out to her again just to see how she was doing. Because this was a couple of years ago, and I kind of learned later that she was dealing with some stuff. She also was having vision problems, which would explain why she kept saying me. No, I'm kidding. Her vision problems are more so tear-based, like that. Her ears, when I assumed she was crying, no, she just kept having teary eye problems. She actually had she told me she had to fly back home to get eye surgery. So it was fucking wild. But I did reach out to her again a couple weeks ago, just to check in with her and let her know, by the way, still like you a little bit, because I still do. There's still emotions there. She's still like drop dead gorgeous. And there were still moments when we were together when she was great, but there were so many more moments where I was like, what the fuck? But I'm willing to give people second chances, so we talked a little about it. It wasn't going to happen. And so that's the nail in the coffin of that one. And it's good. And you get that Dracula reference, nail in the coffin, because I made that joke earlier. That's what you call a callback, bitches. Anyway, so that was the Moldovan. And then I started going on dating apps. I put it off forever. I remember in college they started to come out, and I said, no, that's stupid. That's what losers do. And then I was in my late 20s. I had a bunch of friends that were meeting people online. Some of them fiancés, marriages, and most not, but some were. So there was some level of accomplishment there, but I still said no. It's just too awkward for me. I have to have the real experience. But it took me admitting to myself, yeah, but the real experience hadn't really been working well. So why don't you at least try it? Just try it. What do you got to lose? So what I went on Hinge. It was the app that was recommended to me, and I was surprised that within a couple days I was getting bitches. I could not believe it, because again, I've been working on myself, and at that time I was just starting, and so I was feeling more confident. I was feeling happier, but there was still, and it's always going to remain this way, people, as it should for everybody. I would argue. You need to have some self-doubt about yourself. You have to. If you think you're the best all the time, you're an asshole, and no one likes you. You have to be aware of your issues. You have to be aware that you need to work in certain areas on your character, on your personality, on your judgmental attitudes, maybe. I don't know. And that's not even to mention the physical stuff and the health-related stuff. And for some, that means spiritual stuff too. I let that shit go. I didn't need to work on extra credit, if you catch it. So, but seeing how many women wanted to talk to me and wanted to meet up, it kind of boosted me up a little bit more. It kind of sped up the process. So that alone, I want to thank online dating for just giving me a little bit more self-confidence. Didn't think I needed it. I think I did now, and I like it. So anyway, started talking to some of them. Initially, I didn't know what to do if I started to talk to someone and I did not want to keep talking to them. I felt like ghosting them was just a real cunt move. I didn't want to just lead them on, though, either. But being honest just horrified me. So I kind of did a mixture of both, unfortunately, until I kind of manned up and I said, you know what, I just got to tell this chick what's going on. I said, hey, I even hate to have a go-to ending of dialogue thing, but I try to wrap it up by saying, it's been fun. I don't think there's anything here beyond what we've already talked about. Good luck. And then that's when I usually delete. Now, if they start writing back and it starts to get mean, I have to block them. But that's only happened twice, and I've never done that either. I'm a pretty chill guy. I don't creep. I don't like sending dick pics, for example, and I don't know why a guy would send a stranger a picture of your flaccid or erect or probably a fake picture of your dick. I don't understand that. I don't think I ever will. When girls have asked me for them, I question their character. And yeah, I've only sent one as a joke to Rebecca, which was hilarious. And if laws were more lax in this country, I would post it somewhere because it is pretty funny. But, I just don't get it. And I feel so bad for you ladies on online dating. Holy fuck. I know, you must get so many creeps. So many creeps. So many phony guys who try to pretend to be nice, and then once they think they got you wrapped in their claws, they start saying, yeah, you're pretty. I like you to sit on my face, and I want to put your feet in my mouth, and, oh, I bet your necks taste good, and all that shit. And you're just like, ugh. Gross. So, I feel bad for you ladies. And all I'm saying is I don't do those things at all. So the first girl that I went on a date that I met online was not a good experience, but it kind of got me to see the realities of dating online. Because again, I'm sure every lady has something similar to this when they're looking at guys online. But ladies, I personally have a 3-strike rule. And I've talked about it before, but if your photos are only filtered photos, and I don't know what you fucking look like without all that shit that's filtered on you, that's strike one. Usually that ends it right there, honestly. Number 2 is only group photos. I don't mind 1 or 2 group photos, or like a photo of you and your family or some shit, but if that's all there is, or there's like 1 photo where you're with 2 people, and then the rest are you with like your whole sorority, strike 2, what the fuck's wrong with you? Number 3 is if it's only of like tits and face. That's it. No other angles, no other images. Just that camera angle that girls like to do that shows off their tits, even if they don't have any, or they're giant ones, and they hide everything else. And then I've seen so many photos that are that and filtered, and I'm like, wow, that is like stepping in dog shit and then checking your shoe, cleaning it, putting your shoe back on, and then stepping on a pile of homeless people shit. Not amazing. So I can't take it. I understand why, ladies, why you do these things. I get it. But it's a bit fishy and scam artisty. Show us what you look like. It sounds like an asshole statement. I get it. But let's be honest. If you're online dating, the first thing you see is what they look like. And they look like a bridge troll. Doesn't matter the personality. You're not going to get past that. So you got to, give them the old heave-ho if you catch my meaning. So, show them what you got. My profile, I have a photo of my shirt off when I was wakeboarding. You see that I got some jelly rolls, okay? There's photos of me sitting in a chair so you get a view of my whole body. You know what you're getting. And then there's photos of me up close and fooling and like goofing off, so you know that I'm a fun guy, I like to party. So, and just be honest, I have so much respect for people who are honest like me on these apps. If I see a woman who, to me, is too overweight, I'm not interested because specifically of the weight, but she shows it off. If she wants you to be in a lingerie photo, I don't want to see that, but more power to you. I'm sure there's guys that do want to see that. That's great. I respect that too. But just show people what they're getting into. Show them. Don't lie to people, because you're starting off everything with a lie. And see, to me, that's so much worse. And that, bringing it back to the first date there. Sorry, I went off on a big old rant there. First one was pretty bad because she only had boob and face shots, and then she showed up. She was pretty big, too big for me. She was a little nervous, but not nervous enough not to have 3/4 of the appetizers. But you know what? More power to her. She'll find someone one day. And then this was in Kirkland, and she wanted to go walk by the water, which I was all for. And then she took her shoes off and started walking barefoot. And I could smell her feet, which was gross. And then she stuck her feet in the water where there was duck shit and God only knows what else is in there. And then she just put her dirty, wet, stinky feet back in her shoes and then was grabbing my arm and stuff. And I was like, ugh. I just was like, this isn't for me. She was very, very forward. Very forward, which I was not into. Walked her back to her car. I kind of went in to give her a nice polite hug, and then she kind of grabbed me and she was like, "Oh, let's keep talking. Have you ever been to Disneyland or something?" I was like, "No, I've never been to Disneyland or Disney World. I have awful parents." And she said, "Well, I'm gonna go to Disneyland. You want to go with me?" And I wanted to say, "Bitch, we just met. You're asking me to go to Disneyland with you with your stinky ass feet?" And I said, no. And then I kind of had to push her politely and walk back to my car. As a gentleman, I texted her that I was home and that it was fun, but I wasn't really feeling it. And there was a little bit of come back and forth, but it wasn't anything bad. But I think she got it, and we stopped talking. The second one, I think there was another one. I just don't remember a lot of it, but it was something similar. I believe that same kind of trap, physical catfishing, not a lot there, but she just wasn't as grabby. I don't remember as many bad things. It was more or less it just wasn't a connection. The third one was the worst catfishing that I've ever experienced on online dating, and I hope that I never get one worse. This one said on her profile that she was 29. And I was 32 at the time. 32 or 33. How old am I right now? 34. 32 at the time. And all her photos were not filtered, but heavy makeup. And I could tell some of the photos were slightly old, which is another... Okay, the fourth strike is you use outdated photos. I don't care if the photos are a couple years old. I don't choose to do that. But if I'm going to use an old photo, it's going to be relatively within the last 2 years when I'm looking at my best, in my opinion. But I'm not going to use photos from 10, 15 years ago, you fucking assholes. That's what this girl did. So, she said she was 29, old photos. She showed up. Nope. Much older. And things had widened and enlarged since those photos were taken for, age reasons. and I've never had someone be so much makeup was on, and again, I get it. Some people have different expectations, but personally, I don't like women who wear a lot of makeup. It just has never been my thing. I'm kind of like, ugh. To me, that looks like high maintenance. To me, that looks like she is a little bit phony or full of herself. I like girls who wear, at least if I can't tell, just a middling amount. Do what you think you have to do because you're a woman in society. I get it. You have to do certain things that I will never understand, which implies makeup is one. But if that's just like a big part of your personality or what you're putting out there, it's just not worth it. At least to me. I don't want to sound like a complete chauvinistic pig, but I'm probably coming off as that, but moving on. This one, very nice, and she had a job that I respected her for, but I couldn't get over the fact that she was kind of full of shit. But it was a nice enough date. We only were there for maybe 2 hours. And there was actually a level of a spark. But again, it bothered me that she was much older and all the makeup, and she was very loud. Very loud. But she was nice. I'm not going to lie. She was nice. So we scheduled a second date. And the second date, we got a little tuned up. It was at a wine shop. Yeah, we met at a wine shop. No, we met at a wine restaurant. I don't know what you call those places. Anyway, we met there. Where there's wine tastings, where there's also food. I don't know, people. Vino, the Landing. That's whatever that kind of fucking place is. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, we met there. We ordered this. We ordered 2 wine towers, one white, one red. We would kind of switch back and forth. And I was getting a little tipsy. This girl got hammered. And I was talking about something about older people when they were our age, like boomers, and they were in their 30s, and what 30-year-olds are like now. And so we were just having a nice conversation about it, and I just made a reference how her and I have a little bit of an age difference, but it's not whatever. I wasn't implying that she was full of shit, but she took it that way, which, listen to this one. She started to laugh. And then she downed her, 6th glass of wine. And she said, oh, yes, yeah. I'm actually not 29. And that's when I said, oh, really? And she said, yeah, I don't know how to change the settings on that app. And I said, no, there's a settings tool and there's a drop down. And she's like, oh, I know. And I said, okay, so you didn't have to lie. She's like, oh, I kind of feel like I had to, these days. And I said, no, I'm not going to ask you your actual age. She wasn't in her 30s, people. And she wasn't in her early 40s. So that's when I was like, oh my God, and then and all that wine kind of opened up some other issues, and I was just like, I don't know. But unfortunately, gentlemen and ladies, at my core, I'm a man who gets horny when he has some wine, and there's a woman who's also a little tipsy and horny. So, with all my doubts and all my this is not going to work, I still fooled around with her in the car. Oh, God. And I feel so bad about it now because I obviously, in hindsight, I should not have done anything. But when you're a little tipsy, and this woman was very, I don't want to say throwing herself at me, but it was there for the plucking. I walked her to her car. She implied that she didn't want to wait in her car. She wanted to wait in my car. And so I said, well, she brought it up. And I said, okay, I can drive you to your car. Oh, that's right, because her car was further down. That's right. That's why she wanted to get in my car. So we got in the car. I turned it on, turned the heat on. We started talking, and then I realized we were leaning in, and I just said, fuck it. And, so that happened, and I feel so bad because it obviously, I'm such an asshole. I obviously led her on. You don't do those kind of things. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have sex. Don't get ahead of me. You know what I'm saying? But I did feel bad. So she left. I looked in the mirror. I just had red lipstick and mascara just smeared all over my face. I looked like a Joker cast off. And God, she was texting me. She was telling her roommates about me, and I thought, oh fuck, because I didn't want to do this again. So I made a date for number 3 with her, just so I could kind of say, no. And that was hard. It was hard. It was, I felt like an asshole. Deservedly so. I was a real piece of shit. Still am in regards to that. So that was a tough one. I learned a lot from that. You can't take people out to be nice. I still have that inclination. I still want to do these things, even to women I see now. I still want to give them like another date, or I want to keep texting them just to be nice. But I've had that done to me, and that fucking hurts. You don't want to have someone that's just being nice, because then you don't think they're being nice. You are being led on. So don't lead people on. If you're not into it, it's uncomfortable. Of course it's uncomfortable. You're telling someone you're not interested in them for X reason. You don't have to tell them the reason. You could do it with a little bit of panache, but you still have to, tell them the truth from what you feel. And it's shitty. It sucks. But in the long run, they're going to respect you for it. They're going to thank you for it. Unless they're a psycho and they're going to key your car and spray paint your garage. But hasn't happened to me yet. So let's see. After the catfish one, this one will be brief because I kind of already covered it. But I went out with that friend of a coworker from Montana where we drank way too much and we went to the movie theater and I puked in there. Yeah. So but then we went on a second date to go to the concert where she got trashed. And we went up to a hotel room, and I thought I was going to smash, and then I kind of wanted to, but it didn't really, and then she just said, all right, thanks for a great night, and I left. Then she later got engaged like 3 months later, so that was strange. And let's see. Oh my God, is it really this long? Have I already been talking for almost 50 minutes? Son of a bitch, I thought I would at least cover more. Well, I guess next episode, we're going to cover the ladies where I actually was in a relationship with, where we met online, because the next two, let's see, did I cover everyone before these two? Hold on. Yeah, the Moldovan, the shoes off chick, the movie theater and concert chick, and the catfisher. Yeah, okay, that's everything. And, oh yeah, there was one girl I saw that was, that worked at Amazon as well, but that one, again, that was Mr. Nice Guy, where I wasn't feeling anything. And at that point, it just became mutual complaining about work, complaining about life, and it just wasn't fun anymore. And I could tell that she maybe felt different than I, and kept being nice. And we went on that date where I had the oysters and I shit myself. Remember that story? That was that girl. And then I got really sick, and I forgot about a date we were having, and so I didn't show up. I completely forgot, and she's never talked to me since, and maybe that's for the best. I still feel bad about that one, too. I feel bad for that one too, because I did lead her on. But that one's going to have to get the summarization treatment, because we're almost at 50 minutes, and I don't want to keep you guys here for another 3 hours as I talk about these next two. Oof, well, really just one. The first one is not going to take that long. The second one, holy shit. The fucking swing and a miss on that one is brutal. So, well, shit, people. This thing just keeps chugging along. So yeah, in summary, fuck you, Trump. Watch Catastrophe, go Hawks, and love's a bitch and then you die. Anyway, take it sleazy, everybody. I love you. And, yeah, gobble gobble. Thanksgiving's coming up.